Well, sir, what is your judgment?
I am conflicted.
I am grateful to know, now without doubt, that I am he who I wished to be. But Mozart's part in this discovery does not erase his treachery, nor will it cause me to forgive his misdeeds. I must think upon what must be done. And in some time, perhaps he'll come up with an answer. Ooh, you've already found one?
I have decided.
Were I not to be king when my father leaves the throne, I could say to Mozart, "Begone! Let the sun set upon you, and trouble no longer the dwarves." That would even be just, for the wrongs of the Grey Maul rebellion did not abate when the Sunder battle ended. No, the injuries left by that conflict remain with us. Do Joruka and Longbeards not bristle at the perceived slights of the other, and ponder if something of the Grey Maul spirit lives on behind the rivals' clenched teeth? Do they not look upon the stout axes with distrust, brooding upon the long habitation in Mordor? The lesson of Mozart has taught to dwarves early, and did not diminish with the years. Were I not to be king when my father releases the crown, I could climb in the secret stair of the known levels of Gundabad, leaving Mozart and what I learned here behind. But I cannot, for I will have the concerns of a king, as I did 6 times before. Mozart is a tool to be used, Pineleaf, and I will wield the tool against our foes. I will use him to wrest control of the mountain home from both orcs and dragon. Surely Hremo Frostheart will remember the Grey Maul leader who injured her during the Sunder battle. And without the power of the dragon behind him, the Gabilaha will be able to deal with Gorgar. Yes, what say you, Mozart? Will you spend your last day fighting for the dwarves you once betrayed? I do not command you. I only ask it of you.
I swear to fight for you, my friend of old, my king, for as long as I am able.
I will deliver to you control of the kingdom I once stole. And if the last rays of the sun vanish behind the mountain before I seize your victory, I will perish with sorrow in my heart, and none before or since will know such grief as I know in my failure.
It seems the conquest of Gundabad will succeed or fail by nightfall.
Let us hope that we will celebrate the victory before the sun sets this day. I know what I must do now.
The time has come for me to call for Dwerelmoot.
A call for Dwarmut, a meeting of all the dwarves here in the mountain home. It was held at the Thingfold in the Welkin Lofts, whenever dwarves had grave matters to discuss, or a need that could not be addressed without a consensus of many dwarf lords. It was a ritual for the marshaling of war or the making of peace, and was common at the time. When Gundabad was briefly reclaimed at the onset of the Sixth War, the first Dwarmut in 4,000 years was called at the fold, and the course of that conflict was decided. I will call for Dwarmort once again, Pineleaf. There I will explain the final steps that we must take to drive Hemo Frostheart and our thrall Gorgar from Gundabad. Only then will the mountain home be ours again. Climb the secret stair back to Zulmazal. Seek out the leader of the Iron Garrison, such as Bosi and his kin, Loin of the Longbeards, Prince Ingor of the Jelruka, and Emok of the Stout Axes, and tell them to bring their companies of doors to the Thingfold for Dwaromut. For Dwaromut. That was a very long climb up. I hope you all got around all right.
What did you discover beyond those secret stairs? How fares the prince?
You won't believe this. Does the prince have need of us? We are ready. No. Yes, Durin does have a need of you. The prince has called the rest of the kin to answer a call of Dwaromut. Dwaromut? Can this be? I will send word to the others, and at once. We shall assemble at the Thingfold, and there await Prince Durin. Right. So, I'll need to speak to Prince Ingor, to Glowing, and to Emok. Greetings, sir. Durin has called for a Dwaromut.
Dwaromut, eh? So, we come to it at last.
Good. The Joruka will hear what the Longbeard Prince has to say, and we will await our reward when the fighting is done. Aye, there will be fighting, make no mistake about that. Durin calls for the dwarves to assemble at the Thingfold in the Welcome Lofts after all. Has he not considered how exposed that hillside is to the air? We will be meeting in full view of the peak, from which Remil watches over the lands all above. One thing is clear to me, Pineleaf. Dwaromut will decide the fate of Gundabad, and of us all, one way or another. Well, there can be no mistake about that. Greetings, Loin. Durin has called Dwaromut.
Dwaromut. To think I should live to see another.
I remember the glory of the last, though I was just a lad. Thrain led a great attack upon the fold, recovering it from the orcs for the first time in thousands of years. He called for the lords to determine whether the hammer stroke of our war should fall. We left Gundabad when it was decided, and only a small garrison remained. Much might have been different had the moot chosen otherwise. But that was long ago, and now our concerns are with the mountain home, and not with Khazad-dûm. We need not have our attention divided. I will gather the Longbeards, Pineleaf. My prince will have his moot. And that just leads Emok. Greetings, Emok. I've been asked to tell you that we'll be having Dwaromut soon.
Dwaromut? Is that what it sounds like?
Well, you must forgive me, but I was not present at the last one. The Stout Axes had other things on their minds, as you might imagine. But I will attend this one. My people should be represented, for this moot may determine the success of the conquest. There are few of my people here, but they will answer Durin's call. Durin can count on my attendance and of my axe if it comes to that. Very well. Then, it is time for Dwaromut. I have arrived at the Thingfold. Now, let's see if any of the dwarves have arrived, because without them, we won't be able to discuss much today. Well, that should be up this way. And I just hope it's not as many stairs as I had to climb in getting up to that hidden chamber. Ah, here they are. But we're still short a few dwarves.
Some dwarves have arrived, but not enough. Not nearly enough.
What's taking them so long? Mozog has less than a day remaining to him, and I am relying upon him to strike fear into the dragon's heart. If the Grey Maul is unable to stand with us, perhaps the dwarves are stopping to fight orcs and Angrim along the way, thin their numbers in the welcome loss, and diminish the potential distraction for dwarves coming to the fold Pine Leaf. Alright, kill orcs and Angrim, and that should help to speed the way along for the dwarves. We hope. I don't know about the Angrim or the orcs, but I suspect the giants are also going to be a bit of a problem. Though maybe not as much of a distraction, perhaps. Perhaps the dwarves will just try to avoid the giants. So perhaps I should follow orders and concentrate on those Angrim and those orcs. And speaking of Angrim, here's one right now. I'm sorry, you have been deemed to be a distraction and must be eliminated. No, you're not going to have a nice day. You're going to have a very short day, in fact. Ah, I was beginning to think there won't be any orcs out here. That they had all ran away or something like that. Well, I suppose it's good to see that there's some here. Apparently he was having a conversation with the Sangmarim. Well, there are two sides to every conversation, and I am going to end both sides of it right now. And you too. Sorry. Okay, I'm not sorry. Before long, I'm sure that this place will be clear enough so that the dwarves could hold a nice, proper moot. Well, assuming that the dwarves are late because they're being distracted by having all of these orcs and Angrim all over the place. Perhaps a few of the lords arrived since I sat down. Well, we've got a few more here.
It is time for Dwerelmoot.
That was all that we needed, Pineleaf, and I thank you for your efforts on behalf of the Gabielaha. More dwarves have arrived. It is time for Dwarelmoot.
Are you ready, my friend?
Yes, I am ready.
All of you know why we are here. This is a sacred place. A dwarf place. This is Gundabad.
Wish me good fortune in this, Pineleaf. I wish you very definitely. A murmur of discontent ripples through the crowd of dwarves as Durin remains silent. We should hear what he has to say. That depends on what it might be. Aye, so it does. You will honor the prince. He is no prince of mine. Are we not dwarves?
Most of us have known only stories of the mountain home. But those tales are as well known to us as the names of our near kin. I called for dwarves to take back Gundabad. Not just Longbeards, but dwarves. And this be the response. Dwarves of every clan, from the far reaches of Middle-earth. Can anything be more clear than this? Hear me now. Gundabad belongs not only to the Longbeards, but to all dwarves. Is this not so, Ingor?
Aye, Durin. This is wisdom indeed. Some among my people doubted you would see it. Not I, of course.
I hear wind.
What is that?
Kremil.
The dragon!
Foolish insects. Everything you have done has been to my design.
Lies!
It was I who whispered poison into the ears of your prince beside the anvil of Winterstave. It was I who urged him to march on Gundabad too soon, without time enough to ready his forces. Now, it will be the death of his people.
Heed not the voice of the dragon. These falsehoods have no power over me, worm. And neither do you. For I am Durin the Seventh, the Durin of old, reborn anew.
Ooh, he announced it.
It matters not. The armies I command do not have the will to resist my voice.
Orcs approaching.
Do you hear that? We will be surrounded.
Ah, he has arrived.
Emil Frostheart.
Uh-oh.
No! How is this possible?
Oh! Oh, boy! Remo ran.
What just happened? How is it you wield that hammer? What is your name, stranger?
He is a dwarf, and he fights for Gundabad. That is enough.
You want to avoid the name, yes. That is enough. The Dwarmoot is over, Pineleaf. Now we have no choice. All will be decided in the moments to come. What should we do then?
Kremil's armies approach. Now, the fate of Gundabad will be decided. Mozog must reach the peak.
I need you to get Mozog near enough so that he can strike the killing blow upon the dragon. Can you do this? Oh yes, I'll get it done. Good. I entrust no one else with this, my friend. All now depends upon you and the last of the Grey Mauls. If we do not see each other again, know that it has been an honor to fight alongside with you, Pineleaf. Are you ready? Yes, I am ready.
The two of you must reach the peak.
Are you ready? Durin's forces have opened an aisle for us. We must pass through it and climb the mountain. Let none stand in our way.
This way, friend of Durin.
This way. Oops. Well, between my spear and the mithril hammer, I will hope that we can get through here. And perform a decisive blow. Those orcs are really bent on getting through here and stopping us. Well, we will stop the orcs then. Your turn. Your turn. Oops. Take care of you. Let's see how many of these we can fell. Continue along the way. Oops. More orcs. Quite a force. I guess they must know that we are an important part to it if they keep on breaking off and attacking us. Whew. Well, that was the last of them for now, but...
We are through. Now, we must climb.
Climb. How much further? Is a long way to the summit, friend of Durin. We cannot stop now. I guess that means...
We must reach the top before the setting of the sun.
Very well. Let's get up then.
Forward. Keep climbing.
Keep climbing. Feel like an insect on this mountain. That was disorienting. We are nearly there. I will face the dragon, but I will need you to stand against their minions. Can you do this? I'll have a bite to eat first so that I have enough energy. Then we'll be ready.
Then come, friend of Durin. While there is still time left.
While there's still time left. Still time left.
What are you doing here? Did I not warn you, Ruvaron?
This is the black stone anvil of my friend Durin.
It belongs to me now, and will be the centerpiece of Angmar's ascension. When we have finished etching these runes upon its surface, we will use it to bring down the mountain.
What?
The enemies of Angmar will be swept away.
Stand aside. I have business with your master.
Like they're gonna listen to that.
The dragon is not my master. I serve Angmar, now and forever!
Well. Well. That's their opinion on the matter. Yeah, of course. As long as they conveniently working with the dragon, but they don't think they serve them. Whether they do or not, of course, is another matter. Well, he no longer serves him. Well, you. You are not going to desecrate the Black Anvil. Well, we're obviously going to have to repair what you've already brought upon it.
We must hurry. These cultists have delayed us too long.
Yes.
I remember you, dwarf. How is it you still live?
I fight for Durin, the true lord of Gundabad.
Gorgar, put an end to this creature.
This is some foul dwarf magic. I want nothing to do with it. Slay him yourself.
Gorgar, I command it.
I will not join my brother in death for you. I refuse.
Interesting.
You cannot refuse.
Oh.
No! No!
Well. Well, you cannot refuse? Then we'll have to deal with him ourselves. Gorgar finally having a chance to poke a stick in him. And he's of course a tough one. Well, we'll have to be tougher. We've got... There you go.
Your minions are slain. Remil Frostheart.
What is wrong with you? Your strength departs.
I have strength enough to slay you, worm.
Whatever sorcery keeps you alive has nearly fled. I have only to wait.
Well, that's dragons.
See how weak you become.
Friend of Durin, follow me.
What?
What are you trying to do?
Stand in a high place?
Will avail you nothing.
Stand behind the anvil, friend of Durin.
I can reach you from here.
Well, he's trying to get where he can see.
What are you doing?
Trying to get a glimpse of sunlight, I think.
All I can!
Oh! Oops. wounded, at least. Kreml survived, albeit wounded, and Gorgar is dead. What does this mean? We have to find that out in the next episode of The Legacy of Durin.